Hi, I'm Richard Friesen, and with another edition of Rich's Reframes. This is going to go into the tongue-in-cheek playlist. You know, tongue-in-cheek. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this, mostly our younger audience, tongue-in-cheek, you can Google it to find out what it means. But today's topic is really serious because I read that 100% of the votes in the last presidential election of dead people went for the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. Not 75%, not 60%, but 100% of dead people voting were for Joe Biden. So I thought, man, if you're a Democrat and you're aging and you have pancreatic cancer or something really terrible, and you're going to die, but you've always wanted to leave a legacy. Oh my God, to know that you can vote Democratic after you die, what a blessing. It's almost like a gift, like going to heaven or something. It's like you're going to live on. But what if you're a Republican and you don't vote Republican after you're dead, but you vote Democratic? What's with that? How do you handle that? Your legacy not only just doesn't go on, but your legacy goes on and comes out of the ground like a zombie voting Democratic. What do you do? Every dead person votes Democratic, even if you're staunchly conservatives. You have this transformation after death. Is this inevitable? I recently saw a zombie movie with Brad Pitt called World War Z. And at one point in the movie, Brad Pitt get some zombie blood on him. And for a moment, he doesn't know if he's going to stay human or turn into a zombie. So he steps to the edge of this high building, looking way down many floors, and he just waits, just balancing, just barely. And his hope is if he sees he's turning into a zombie, while he still has some agency, he can still make a choice, he will fall forward to his death and then not bite his family and turn them into zombies. What a hero. What a great thing to do in the moment. So the question is, if you are a Republican, can you stand on the edge of that building? Is there a way to prevent yourself from being a zombie and voting Democratic? Well, it turns out I did some research and find out some things that do work and don't work. And I had to go to my favorite spiritualist and had to really delve deep into kind of the underworld and how that works. And in fact, I've even done some work with one of the devil's assistants, but that's in another playlist, to find out exactly what works and what doesn't. Well, first of all, and this is a bit disappointing, that cremation doesn't work. If we look at the percentage of people who've been cremated versus buried in a casket, it's the same percentage who vote Democratic. So it's like cremation is not impacted. Your vote. They burn your body, you still vote Democratic. So another solution that some of the people came up with was to remove yourself from the voter rolls. Now, this works a little bit like, 5 or 10% of the time, but it turns out even a death certificate does not remove you from the voter rolls. And and once you stay there, you always vote Democratic after you've died. So what do? Well, there's some things you can do that the solutions aren't perfect, but you can mitigate them. First, You, in your will, you state that after you're dead, that you will vote Republican. Now you have your executor sign it so that when they receive your ballot, they have agreed already, they've already agreed legally to vote Republican. But, once you're dead, what are you going to do? You can't sue them. You have no legal recourse. So this might mitigate it a little bit, but you still know those executors, they're going to vote Democratic. Now, another thing you can do, and it turns out that this has about a 60% chance of working, is that you use demonic revenge. You write a letter and you send a copy to your register of voters, to your family, and to the executor of your will and the funeral home, or who's ever taken care of your remains. And in each of these letters, you tell them that you are going to come back from the dead and haunt them and turn them into zombies if they vote Democratic for you. If turns out you vote Democratic, I mean, you're going to know because you're dead, and you can look at, your vote and the totals and everything. And you don't even have to go through legal channels to do that. You will just know. But really important, it turns out these letters aren't very effective unless you take some twigs and straw and make this little person, this little voodoo doll, and you put that in the letter. Now, it turns out that somebody did a lot of research on this. The sample size was small, so it may not be statistically valid, but 60% of that time, that person voted Republican after they were dead. So not the complete solution, but if you're a Republican and you want to carry on after you're dead and leave a legacy of conservatism, that is the best we can do. Now, I'm going to continue researching this, and if I can find better ways to keep yourself from voting Democratic after you're dead, you will be the first to know. So subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with voting after death.